you want to attend the next ARG regional event? Make sure you pre-register online at dragonballsuper-regionals.com. The next event is scheduled for the weekend of February 24th and 25th in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. Can't do a regional event? Don't forget about the ARG State Championships in your area. Visit argcircuitseries.com for a list of locations by state where you can battle for the title of champion on February 17th or 18th. Participants will be playing for 7 exclusive top 8 cloth playmats, 1 exclusive champion cloth playmat, 1 round bye to ARG Circuit Summer Invitational, and much more. If you want to really test your skills, head to Pro Play Games in Miami, Florida, home to 3 regional champions and an additional prizing of up to $1,000. Or find your way to the Comic Vault in Altoona, Pennsylvania to face off against KitchenTableMeta pro players. If you can't make it to one of these events, don't forget to visit argcircuitseries.com to find a list of stores holding ARG state championships near you.
All right, guys, we're here for the finals of ARG Presents Dragon Ball Super Regionals at Indianapolis. Super excited. Here in the beautiful Indy Convention Center. Love this place. Again, home to Gen Con. We come here quite often. I think I've been to 5 or 6 Gen Cons. Love it. It's always a good time. Again, we have Chris Abella from representing Pro Play Games, PPG, on the left, playing Blue-Green Soul Striker Goku. We saw him, I believe, in round 16 is where we saw him. Round 16, top 16, I think is where we saw him. He played against Androids, knocked that out 2-0. And we have Anthony Hernandez on the right. We just saw him play in top 4, playing Vegeta Blue, his unique take on Vegeta. Just a fantastic deck. Love watching it. Love seeing it. It's actually, he plays Vegeta aggro a lot differently, I think, than most players are accustomed to. What I mean by that is he's actually plays it very patiently, very, I want to say like almost masterful. It's this very, you know, he knows when to go in, knows when not to go in, where a lot of Vegeta players you see just go all in. They live or die by the sword. And I like seeing Anthony playing a lot more patiently. In fact, he won his first game off playing 6-drop Champa. So here Anthony playing the Trunks and an energy, and then plays a Boo. Looks like, I think when the players sat down, they actually maybe knocked over our shaders because we have a little bit of glare on here. That's okay. We can make out these cards. I'll walk you guys through it. Here we go. Anthony down to 7 life. Chris saying, oh, I see that Boo. I'm going to raise you a Boo. Boo for a Boo. All right. Chris attacking in 10,000 into 10,000. And a Vegeta. It looks like the Pro Play Game guys really like putting pressure on Vegeta, which, you know, honestly might just be the right way to do the matchup. If they do it, I mean, in my opinion, Pro Play Games has 2 of the two of the best Vegeta players in the world, Eddie, St. Hilaire, and Marcel. And so they are, in my opinion, probably the best team in the world playing against it. They certainly get to practice in. So Vegeta into Goku. 10,000 into 10,000 here. This is critical. Looks like Chris decided to take that. Goes to 7. Actually, I think Chris was just at 7 before this. And Anthony going in heavy here. 25k double strike, critical. Forcing Chris to take it and go to 5. 5-5. Anthony evening up the odds here. Anthony playing down the second Boo, drawing a card. I like Anthony's deck. I like a lot of the cards in the deck, a lot of the tech in the deck. I love Goasu. I think it's a fantastic card in the deck. I feel like it has so many targets. It's very unlikely that it whiffs. And when it does hit, I mean, it has the potential to search for Piccolo, which is just something that Vegeta never had access to before. Okay, here's Goku. Chris attacking from 10,000 into 10,000. They decide if he's going to take this or not. My guess is if he uses the Boo here, Chris will probably attack in with Goku. So I like that Anthony's just going to take this. That way if he gets attacked again, he just awakens. Draws 2 cards and has a better energy phase here. Okay. Or charge phase. All right, so Anthony at 4 life. Chris Abella at 5. 4 to 5. Whether Vegeta might actually, Anthony might just not take a life here to deal critical, but he's going to awaken, draw 2. He's taking a sec to figure out what he wants to do. Sorry, guys. A lot of options here. Anthony has the ability to essentially take a life and pressure his opponent with critical, possibly knock him down to 3 if he has a chomp in hand. Or he has the ability to just pass turn. Obviously not going to pass turn with this, but I mean, what I meant to say was play a couple more 1-drops, play Gawasu's, Champas, pass turn, and just kind of force Chris to have to awaken himself, though Chris is at 2 energy. So it looks like Anthony's going to attack for 15. I like this. I like that he's not taking a life here. I think it's actually extremely smart. Actually, Chris was at 6, goes to 5, so we're already ready. He had those 2 cards right on top of each other. So he's at 5 life to 4. Here comes the Champa. Look at the top 7. Ooh, gets a double striker off of that. Gonna choose it. Shuffles the deck. Abella trying to figure out. Anthony still has plenty of energy open. Still play a Boo, still play Gawasu, still play a lot of stuff here. Plays a Boo here, draws a card. Again, just building that board up. Okay, here comes the blue. It'll probably be Bulma here. Again, Chris Abella run this Bulma version of Soul Striker Goku. Not my favorite version of Soul Striker Goku. I feel like the problem with the Bulma version is that you essentially don't have enough removal to keep up with the mirror match. However, I think the upside is you have more consistent energy and you have the ability to get green energy without wasting cards like Kale or Super Saiyan Gotenks in order to get that green energy. So I think that's the plus and minuses. Now, the kind of neutral part of this is that you have access to search out Light of Hope Trunks, which I think is very powerful in the mirror match, and actually probably going to be pretty powerful in this match as well if he can get it. Mostly because turning Goku into a 25,000 attacker puts a lot of pressure on Vegeta each turn, and usually Vegeta's pretty low in life. So I think that's a big possibility that Chris can be doing here with this Bulma. So he's going to combo up to 15. Again, playing very similar to the way Peter was playing. Anthony deciding if it's worth it here. Might use a Gohan. That one open energy might just be Gohan. Yep, there it is. Chris with the ability to possibly... Oh, never mind. There comes Trunks. What I was going to say is Chris might have the ability to play Goku combo, good 15 there, and then use the Boo and the drop area to maybe play Mass Sand in order to clear quite a few cards from Anthony's board, and then pressure with Double Strike. But turns out he just has to go for the time patrol plan. I like that. So 15 into 15. See if Chris decides to combo with anything else on field. Fill that drop area back up. I don't think Chris has access to another time patrol in hand. Anthony just simply going to use a Boo. Again, I don't think Anthony plays any overwhelm cards in his deck. I haven't seen any, I don't think, in any of the matches. I'm talking about main board. I mean, Mira seems really good. The Trunks obviously seems amazing in this deck, but I just don't think I've seen it. Though could maybe not be looking hard enough, but Anthony playing down a second Trunks as blue energy here. Trunks being, in my opinion, probably one of the most important combo cards in this set. I mean, in this deck. Seems very ambitious to play it here. There's the Trunks. Eat my words. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I saw Trunks in the other games that we've seen Anthony play, but I didn't think we saw any in the game one, so I thought maybe he just sides them in. I don't know. It seemed very unlikely that he doesn't play them in the deck, though. Anthony going to 3 life, attacking with double strike. Playing into a negate here, but chances are Chris not having one, or he would have already negated. Though he might. Nope, there's the negate. Anthony with quite a few cards in hand. A lot of options here. Probably going to end up passing the turn. My guess was this Trunks was going to be comboed into the Vegeta. I'm not sure if it's worth awakening his opponent here. Ooh, gets a Jiren off of that, and sees the Jiren in the board. I'm sorry, out of the 3. Pretty powerful card against Soul Striker Goku, as it turns out. Able to remove multiple threats. One of the few cards that are able to do that. Can't imagine Anthony actually wanted to attack it here. He does. I wouldn't want to attack my opponent, but he's going to. 50,000 and 10,000. Got negated. Attacks 15,000 and 50,000 again with Gohan. I think if he negates the Trunks, I don't know if you attack with the Gohan, your opponent can awaken next turn, and you can have a chance to get a bigger double strike critical in, but actually, no, Chris just took the attack. I mean, just took the damage. Okay. I see. So, yes, so the Gohan attack is fantastic. Okay, Chris, it's going to be at 4 energy this turn. Doesn't get the 20k boost. Okay, 2 green, 2 blue. And there's Gohan. Gohan probably going to be killing Gohan here. Here we have 15,000 into 15,000. Running 2 blue. Drawing that card. Anthony being able to easily defend this attack with Guasu or any of the Champas, but he's going to choose a Gohan here. I'm not 100% sure if I agree with the Gohan here. I think you save Gohan for the next turn, and that way you have Gohan in order to protect yourself from the 20k attack from Goku. I don't think the Gohan be on the board this turn, but I guess he has 2 in hand and decides to use them both. Again, I'm not sure if that's the best use of Gohan. I mean, again, I could be wrong, but it seems like effectively blocking Goku's big side is a lot better. Maybe it's possible Anthony thinks... No, because he's using on both cards. Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't know if I agree with that, especially with 3 0 plus 5,000 Combo cards. I think you just use both of those. Save the Gohans. And Anthony might have a big turn this turn planned. He might be wanting to use all of his energy this turn. He doesn't want to have to leave an energy open. So we'll see what happens. Anthony's still trying to decide what kind of energy he wants to put down. See what he decides here. Looks like he has another Gohan in hand, so maybe he just had to find a way to efficiently use some of them. Big decision here is Anthony going to use a critical and go to 2? Seems pretty scary. Anthony's still taking some time. Because this is for the finals for the champion. The Indianapolis Championship here at beautiful Indy Convention Center. Maybe, there we go, choosing the double strike. It's a card I've seen a lot of players put in energy, and I just seem like I almost never agree with it. All right, there's Champa. The Champa evolve for 5. This is a triple striker here. And they draw a card here. Let's see if he can make Chris play spin some cards here, because going down to taking 1 here is pretty deadly when there's a 25,000 triple striker on board. So what Chris decides to do, he's going to since you've been go to 20. Again, these triple striker future trunks here. I'll actually pull this card up for you guys, and we'll talk a little bit about this card. Anthony taking a look at it. A very powerful card, but I feel like very bad against aggro decks. And we'll explain why once we go over the card here. So it's full power trunks here. 4 cost 2 green, 20,000 attacker with triple strike, which is devastating. Permanent, all of your opponent's battle cards gain blocker for the duration of this card's battle. So it's not the whole turn; it's literally battle. And so the card is pretty. It can be devastating in a lot of different matchups, but I think in aggro, it's probably one of the worst cards to play against that matchup. The main reason being that they usually have a lot of little guys out. And because of that, they have a lot of blockers to be able to stop it. So it becomes very inefficient for 4 energy. And so my guess is that Chris will be using almost all of these as just free energy for green. That way he saves his energy for Super Saiyan Gotenks, saves his energy for Kells, and the more powerful cards in this matchup. Okay, Anthony attacking it for 20,000 into 20,000. Again, just trying to get some cards out of Chris's hand. He knows in turn 5 is a scary time to play against Goku. He starts getting 20,000 attack, starts playing out multiple threats. Let's see what Anthony decides to do here. Anthony deciding whether or not he wants to attack with this 25,000 triple striker. I actually don't feel like it's a bad choice. I mean, obviously giving your opponent 3 cards is never a good thing, but I feel like knocking your opponent to 1 life isn't the worst thing ever either. Especially with the card advantage that Anthony has. I feel like Chris would probably stop it. So you might be able to get some free cards out of your opponent's hand. We'll see though. All right, passing the turn to Chris's turn 5 here. It's probably going to spell doom for this Champa. I can't imagine it staying alive. It's an interesting discussion. It's what I'm actually talking to Anthony about after the game. I'm actually wondering if attacking your opponent with triple strike here is worth it. Attack 25 and the 20. They have to, if they take it, they get 3 cards, which is frustrating. But your opponent being at 1 life as an aggro deck seems also pretty good. It forces Chris to have to keep a lot of defensive cards up. All right, Chris going to play 2 energy here, or 4 energy, I'm sorry. Probably playing out the Gohan that we expected, killing this Champa. Attacking 20,000 into 15,000 here. Trying to remove one of these Gohans from the field here. Anthony taking the time. To protect it. He's going to use another Gohan to protect it. I love it. So, again, 3 Gohans out. Again, if your opponent, so let's pretend like he attacked with Champa. His opponent took it, goes to 1. He has, what, 3, 4 attackers that he can pressure that 1 life? It seems like it might, I mean, again, I hate giving my opponent 3 cards, especially. I hate giving my opponent 1 card, let alone 3, but maybe that would have been the right play. I can't imagine Chris taking it, but we'll see. Abella trying to figure out the right play here. Back up to 3 energy. Probably wants to save that energy. Okay. I think I'll let the 1 Gohan die. Chris putting no pressure on Vegeta that turn. Pretty good for Anthony. Also, Anthony has a good target with Vegeta now where he can just draw a free card, attacking the Gohan. No reason to take a life or do too much pressure. I'm still on this Champa play, guys. I still am thinking that it might have been better to attack in triple strike. I can just imagine the position Anthony was in right now if his opponent is at 1 life instead of 4. Guasu, I think the first whiff we've seen off of Anthony's Guasus in these matchups. Again, pretty unlikely that he whiffs. He has a lot of targets, but it's getting later and later in the game, so there's a lot fewer cards in deck. He's actually attacking 15,000 into 15,000 with Vegeta. No critical here. Chris is going to snap, take that, go to 3. It's all tied up, guys. 3-3. And he's hacking 15,000 to 15,000 Gohan into childhood Gohan here. Teen Gohan kills him. Chris not wanting to use the resources to protect that. And here Chris attacking 15,000 into 15,000 Gohan into Gohan. And Chris is just going to use his own Gohan in order to stop that. These bodyguard combo cards, extremely efficient, especially in blue. I think it's one of the reasons why we don't see as many green leaders now, because of the inefficiency of them. Their bodyguard combo being Tien. I think still have 4 energy available. Just passing turn. Again, like I talked about. Anthony doing a good job just playing very patiently. Again, you got to be careful playing patiently against Goku. He has one of the best late games in the entire game. Be able to play out multiple threats. So here's Super Saiyan Goku. I'm a Gotenks coming out. Gonna untap 2 of Chris's energy and let him draw a card. Extremely effective. 25,000 double strikers, something that Anthony probably doesn't want to have to deal with. There's a potential he might have to deal with 2 of them this turn. Alright, so we have 20,000 into 15,000. Soul Striker Goku into Vegeta here. Okay, Chris attacking 15,000 to 15,000. Trying to go for a Gohan here, or Goku here. That's right, Gohan. Gohan to Gohan. Try to put some pressure on him here. Get some of these threats out. Though again, Chris not wanting to go to 2. Anthony with 3 15,000 attackers can really get a lot of cards, but Anthony going to wisely choose to use one of those Guasus in order to stop that damage. Okay, here Chris is going to attack in 25,000. Ooh, deciding to take a second and figure out exactly where he wants to attack. Choosing the Gohan, that's a big tell to me. If he attacks in the Gohan, obviously you don't want to give Vegeta 2 cards, but that tells me that Chris is worried about these 3 15,000 attackers. Giving Anthony 2 cards is frustrating, obviously, but here's a second Gotenks. You have to imagine, with the second Gotenks coming out, was it better just attacking the Vegeta here? All right, 25,000 into Gohan. It's 15,000. Okay, Chris passing the turn. Have killed both of Anthony's Gohans. And has 2 Super Saiyan Gotenks on board with a Gohan of his own. Pretty scary board. Anthony's going to have to find a way to put some pressure on his opponent now. Obviously, Champa could be a big threat. He's going to go Trunks first. See what Anthony decides to dig for. Anthony attacking 15,000 into 15,000 Vegeta. Into Goku. Probably going to see a Trunks combo here. That's usually what we've seen Anthony's play pattern being here, but he actually says no combo, and Chris uses just a Boo out of his hand to stop it. I'm trying to figure out what Anthony might be trying to do here. I can imagine he can survive the next turn. He has tons of cards in hand, but he's digging for something. Got to figure out what that card is. All right, Anthony attacking 15,000. $50,000 into 50,000. Time Patrol Trunks into Goku. It's like he's going to go up to 25,000 here. Anthony sniffing out the possibility that his opponent was killing those Gohans because he can't deal with a 15,000 attacker. Forces a Piccolo, but it's going to need one more card. Chris looks like with a Kel in hand, a Negate in hand, a Boo. Definitely is going to be able to combo through this, but another Piccolo. Pretty defensive hand, but Kel becomes very difficult for Vegeta to deal with. A 20,000 attacker that has critical and the possibility of drawing him a card. Okay, give us a second. Anthony attacking 30,000 into 25,000. We'll see if Anthony decides to combo it all, but I kind of expect Chris to counter here. He goes going to 25. I'm going to play 35, which means that Chris will have to use a Piccolo and something else in order to save this Gotenks. Honestly, probably better for Chris just to let this die. I mean, it stinks to use a Gotenks, but it's much better, in my opinion, to lose a Gotenks. You know, Soul Striker Goku has no shortage of threats to play. And I've seen a lot of Soul Striker Gokus make mistakes where they'll spend a lot of cards to protect their threats, and then what ends up happening is they don't have a way to protect themselves in defense. So essentially, they spend all their all their cards, protect their threats, and their opponent just like after they have no hand, just attacks them and win. So it's okay to let your threats die, Soul Striker Goku, in a lot of the matchups because you always replace them. You always draw more and more threats, and you can play sometimes 2 a turn, even sometimes 3 a turn. So save those cards for defense as much as possible. Okay, Chris surviving that attack. Very grindy matchup here. Anthony playing Chomp out. Gonna look at the top 7. See what Chompa he decides to take off the top. Has access to multiple of them here. And look at his hand. Choose which one. Looks like he has further destruction and maybe another manipulating god, but I can't quite tell. There it is. Further destruction. Gets it off the top. Puts it in his hand. Only 1 energy open available from Anthony, but Anthony playing his hand very tight. Can't tell exactly what he has. Chris has the potential to have a very strong turn here. He has a Super Saiyan Gotenks, 2 Gohans, and a Vegeta on board. Now, I mean, a Goku leader. Now, what Anthony's going to need here is at least a Senzu Bean, in my opinion, for him to survive this this onslaught efficiently enough to be able to still be in this game. All right, Boo. Two green down. Interesting choice of tapping here. It means he doesn't have another Goku. Okay, he's actually just playing his threat here. Probably a Kel. We just talked about that. Go 4-5. Attacking 20,000 into 15,000. I think with a lot of cards in hand, though, I have no doubt that he'll be able to survive. Just needs to figure out how he's going to do it. Needs, like I said, at least 1 Senzu Bean in my mind. Anthony waiting, deciding. Says he's going to take it. Goes to 2. Uh-oh. Not looking good for Anthony. With so many cards in his hand, I'm not sure why he decides to take that attack. He has to be able to stop that attack. He has so many cards in hand, there's no way he can't take it. I can't imagine why he would decide to take that attack. Chris attacking 25k into 15k here. Looks like maybe no combos. We'll see what Chris decides to do here. I don't think he has to combo, but... And again, he has such a defensive hand. He has 2 negates, a boo. I don't think that he can actually... I'm just still stunned that Anthony decided to take that kill attack. I'm trying to think in my head of what he could view, what could it be. And he has the Sensu Bean. He has the Sensu Bean. He could have Sensu Bean and dumped a card. Guys, why did he choose to take this kill attack? I just can't understand. Okay. Chris playing the boo down. Still can't fathom. So it's 15,000 to 50,000 here. Again, Chris with a very light offensive hand, mostly defensive cards. So honestly, if Anthony can somehow make it out this turn, I mean, the Sensu Bean was step 1 we talked about, but I didn't actually think he had it. Maybe he was trying to bait his opponent and is doing something. I don't know. I just can't. Maybe he forgot that he had it. I don't know. Interesting. Would love to know why. I'd imagine you would want to save yourself. Save yourself the kill. But I guess, I mean, at the grand scheme of things, dropping 2 cards to save yourself from discarding 1. Anthony down to 1 card in hand, by the way. And 1 card in life. He survives the turn. Here we go. This is his time to shine. You know, play Time Patrol Trunks first. Look at the top. His opponent with very light, again, very light offensive cards in hand, mostly defensive. Big problem about going down to 1 life, too, from Anthony is that if he goes down to 1 life, it turns off his combos, which we know he runs. So it's going to be a little bit unfortunate for Anthony here, but we'll see. I think he can actually find a way to get back into this game. I mean, Chris with only, 1 energy open? This is 15,000 to 15,000. Chris is almost undoubtedly going to counter this. Still going to give Anthony a card, but we'll see what happens. Like Chris says no negate. Okay. So this is 25,000. Sensu Bean. Plays another Gohan. Stops it. Anthony trying to figure out exactly how he's going to come in here. He has to hit at least 1 damage in before he can start going all out with Double Strike, but it has multiple energy available. Anthony needs to find a way to essentially deal 1 damage efficiently, though. He can't dump too many cards in order to deal 1 damage. But again, Chris with I think 2 negates in hand. I'm not sure if Anthony has the ability to play multiple enough threats in order to get through. So here comes Manipulating God. Look at the top 7. Getting a 6-drop here would be pretty frustrating for Chris, but I don't think Anthony would use it. That's playing pretty heavily into a negate. Gets another 1-drop. Again, building this board up, giving him more attacks. Okay, it's not out of the realm possibility that Anthony wins this game off a 1-drop attack at all. So, getting multiple ones on the field is not a bad idea. Okay, here's Anthony attacking for 15,000 to 15,000. Time Patrol Trunks into Goku. Anthony going Piccolo up to 25. I like that Anthony always stays around this 25K range. Something we've talked about throughout the entire event. I've seen a lot of players kind of mess up and just like combo one card and go to 20, and then they just get blown out by Piccolo. So I like that Anthony has consistently gone to 25 or even more. It forces his opponent to take multiple cards. Now, I think what's going to happen here is Chris will take this damage, go to 2, and then try to win off the back of his negates. Which is could be risky. If Chris has the ability to stop it, you'd have to believe that he would stop it. Because if he lives this turn, it's probably over for Anthony. That's it. Anthony says 35K. Chris uses Piccolo, goes up to 15. Has a Bulma, goes up to 30. But does have Sensu Bean. So he beats it. That's my fault. I forgot about the Sensu Bean. Chris with very few cards in hand right now. Just trying to find out a way that Anthony can. He needs to get probably like 3 threats on the field. So he's playing Jiren here. Very aggressive. Attacking for 30,000 into Gotenks. Maybe Anthony thinks he can survive with a Sensu Bean next turn. Chris going to counter that. I don't agree with this counter. Again, Chris using a lot of defensive cards. As a counter, Chris with what, 2 cards in hand? And just use his counter against that? That can't be right. Losing to Gotenks is much better than losing the game, which I think is... This could actually happen now. Anthony could attack it with Champa. Sensu Bean up. And then go all in with... So, he's attacking it for Goku. 20,000. Chris with 1 card in hand. Use his second counter on that second Jiren attack. It's going to attack into Goku here. Use Sensu Bean. Go up here. I don't think he has another Trunks. He might. Uses Piccolo. Draws a card. There's a 20K right here. It's probably as far as he'll go. Unless he has a Trunks in hand. Chris Abella, 1 card in hand. Really no way to stop this. I'll take it some time to think. Interesting that Anthony decided to go to 20 and not 25. What if that last card's Piccolo? Seems strange to me that he didn't just go... Anthony seems like he's playing a little loose this game. Making a couple mistakes that are surprising to me. Taking the kill hit. And this line of play here, like going up to 25, we just talked about how important that was. And if that last card in Chris's hand is... If that last card in hand is Piccolo, like at least make him draw Piccolo and something else. Yeah, Anthony just scooped the game up. Game 2. Interesting. Seems like a bunch of missteps in a row there by Anthony. Uncharacteristic for sure, but very strange. All right, guys, we're going to go over here and back to the caster desk. I'm going to scooch over. Pop up the caster desk, guys. Hey, what's up? That's game 1 going to Chris Abella. PPG Pro Play Games. Again, very, like, in my opinion, very uncharacteristic back-to-back mistakes by Anthony Hernandez there. Again, letting get hit by the kill was very strange, especially when you have Sensu being in hand. I can't, like, if he has one more card in hand, maybe that could be the difference of that last game, you know, what he wants to use or whatever. Also, kind of the weird comboing there off that Champa. Like, if your goal was to hit him to 2, you would think that you would go over. He has one card in hand, one energy open. You have to at least go over 10, right? Like, it's very strange to me. I mean, in that matchup, there is no dead cards in Soul Striker's hand, right? I guess the only card it could be in this hand that could be dead as results. Again, I'm not familiar with what was in the drop or what was in the drop or the warp or the energy, but like, it just seems very uncharacteristic for Anthony just to go up there and be like, if you have a 10k, I guess you win the game. Just seems strange to me. Again, I've seen this happen a lot with a lot of the aggro players, though. They seem to be losing with tons of cards in hand, and you have to think that there has to be a way to be more efficient with those cards in order to take advantage of having them in your hand. What we've seen a lot, though, I'm going to go through here and fix these overlays for you guys. What we've seen, though, is we've seen a lot of players essentially take advantage of or a lot of decks have been trying to go towards running like 4-drops. A lot of these aggro decks have been going to run 4-drops in order to kind of help combat the Soul Striker's card quality. And I think what we're seeing happen is like they need to run more efficient 2-drops and 3-drops, and maybe not run 4-drops. Maybe 4-drop be the top end of the curve. I think the big thing that aggro decks are struggling against right now is that removal, trying to get that removal. Because what happens is like that. I don't think Anthony would have lost that game if he could have found a way to like remove the multiple things. The problem is with the Soul Striker is that a lot of Soul Striker's defensive abilities, like Gohan, for example, just put more cards into play. So, you know, it's really tough to beat it. You have Sensu Beans, you have Negates, you have Gohans. It's all of these like, efficient defensive cards, and then their offensive cards require no boosting or no help to make them be game ending. And so essentially, you know, he just drops Super Saiyan Gotenks. It's actually a fantastic card, puts pressure the whole game on Anthony, and then what's Anthony going to use in order to remove it, right? He has to go to these 4-drops to remove it, but the problem is these 4-drops are not efficient in aggro, right? You tap 4 of your 5 energy to play out one guy, you attack, he gets negated. Next turn, Soul Striker just drops a Beerus and kills your guy. Like, you didn't really do anything, especially in an aggressive way. So I think this is the problem that that aggressive decks are going to have to solve if they want to be relevant in the meta, especially against Soul Striker Goku. It's going to be very tough. But again, I still think Anthony had a good matchup there. I think just a couple missteps. Again, he's in the finals. Maybe it's nerves that got to him. Maybe it's tired. Everyone here is tired. We've been here for 2 days. You know, these guys have played 8, 9, 10, 11 rounds of best of 3 Dragon Ball Super. So, you know, a couple, again, uncharacteristic mistakes by Anthony. But so I'll talk a little bit about the sideboard here. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the game, though, as I talk about the sideboard, and let you guys take a look at our players here. They're getting ready to sideboard in now. I mean, I think it's already sideboarded, but they're getting ready to they're mulliganing right now and doing their mulligan and get ready to finish up this match here, guys. Again, 1-0, Chris Abella. On his way to be the 4th Pro Play Games player to win a championship. Pretty dominating performance by Pro Play Games here. But again, sideboards, very good options, I think, again, by both players. Chris Abella probably going to sideboard into some blockers. Again, Anthony doesn't seem to be taking advantage of Gotenks, though he might sideboard those in. I think we did see him use some of them in the second game against Peter, but I don't think we've seen any of the first game. Anthony seems to not be playing Mighty Mass, instead favors like Gowasu in the God package, which is also very, very good. So Anthony is choosing to go first, takes a life, goes to 7, and passes the turn to Chris. All right. Chris leading us off with the Sensu Bean. Playing a Boo. Attacking 10,000 and 10,000. Anthony takes it. Goes to 6. Anthony Hernandez playing down this Beerus as his second energy. I think Anthony might be, maybe he should double think playing these Beeruses down as energy. I've noticed him doing this quite often. I think that Beerus is like his blue energy god card, so it's similar to the 6-drop Champa where he wants to surge out the Beerus with Gowasu and then just use it as efficient energy. But I actually think it's actually really good in this matchup. It might actually even be better than Jiren in some aspects, especially if your opponent has multiple counters in hand. So Anthony down to 5 life here. Okay. Looks like Abella's just going to use the Boo there to stop the damage. Anthony immediately passes. Puts down Kalis' green energy. Attacks for 10,000 into 10,000. Goku into Anthony's Vegeta. 10,000. Going to use Gohan to save that. Love it. Also, they're like using 2 to save. Looks like Anthony's actually just wanting to have 2 Goku out here. I mean, 2 Gohan out here just to put pressure on his opponent. This is possibly a big turn for Anthony. Gives him the ability to play out multiple threats. See what happens. Anthony playing out the red energy here. Taking a card. Awakening. Attacking for 15,000 critical. Into Bella's Goku here. I actually feel like Anthony might be doing a double strike here. Here's the double strike. So it's 25k. Critical. See if Anthony decides to use any other card here. I think it's somewhat important that he tries to make sure he hits this. I think Chris is at 8. But we'll see here shortly. Okay, using the Boo here. Goes to 30. Chris takes both. Goes to 6. 6 to 5. So Anthony's going to do here, again, a lot of different plays these guys can do. Anthony chooses just to pass, which I like a lot, though he does open himself up a little bit to some removal, but it's going to be a couple turns before that happens. So Anthony just buying time, trying to do as much critical damage as he can, so he gives Chris less and less cards through his life, which is really important. Chris stacking 10,000 into 15,000. And immediately passes turn. Anthony at 4 life. Chris looks like he's stalling out here a little bit. It's possible that Anthony can maybe take advantage of this. So here he's attacking 15 into 10, but not using any critical here. I mean, not using a card for critical, I don't believe. Yeah, hits him to 5. All right, Bella playing Bulma. See if he gets a Trunks here. Might go for Light of Hope Trunks. Also very good. He's going to go for that full power Trunks, which we talked about, which is going to be a great energy source for the following turn. It's going to turn him 1 to 2 green, which lets him use Super Saiyan Gotenks. Also lets him use Kale, any of those other powerful green cards. So a good choice here. And again, he gets to do it more efficiently. That's one of the upsides, again, from running Bulma instead of your other cards in this matchup, is you get to efficiently gain energy into your drop area. Okay, Anthony putting down Trunks as his energy here. Again, I've seen Anthony put Trunks in his energy quite a few times, and I feel like the card is extremely effective in this matchup. It makes his kill turn be much more efficient and much bigger. So I'm surprised to see him use Trunks so much in this matchup. Maybe he thinks it's a dead card in his hand because he's not being attacked. I'm not sure, but again, I feel like, I mean, I'm sorry, maybe he doesn't want to use it as an attack, as a combo card to stop an attack, and instead he thinks this is better use as energy. But I've seen him use this card in energy. I think he used 2 last turn or last match. And I feel like if he had both of those in his hand for that kill turn, he could have opened up 2 more energy and maybe played out another threat. All right, Anthony going to go to 3 here. So Anthony up to 25k double strike. Critical. Plays another Gohan, goes with 35k. Let's see what Chris does here. It's possible Anthony might get blown by Jocko here. I can't quite see Chris's hand. Looks like Anthony is actually trying to play around the Jocko a little bit by going a little over than what he probably needs to. And Chris is just going to snap, take it, and go to 3. Three to 3, all tied up. However, we are going into Soul Psychers turn 5, where you can play Super Saiyan Gotenks and be extremely devastating towards Anthony. Anthony's going to have to start using some cards in order to stop that. We saw the Trunks player playing some sideboarding and Whis Excursion for this type of situation. It actually seemed pretty effective, more so than I would expect it to be. Looks like Anthony's going to do as much damage as he can this turn, try to knock his opponent to 2 here. So he's going to go 15k into 10k, allowing Chris to awaken here. Anthony attacking once again, 15,000 into 15,000. And that Gohan. Anthony with the Time Patrol Trunks coming down. I love this card. Again, been just such an efficient card and a great card throughout this entire tournament. We knew when to make an impact. Like I said in our set review, we talked about how it was probably the best card, well, by far the best card in the set, and probably going to be the most versatile card in the entire game, being played almost in every deck. Really don't see any reason not to play at least a 2 of it. And here, Anthony again is attacking 15,000 into 15,000 with Trunks into Goku. Trying desperately to get him down to 2 life so he can try to go for the all-in. Chris taking his time trying to figure out what he wants to use in order to stop this. If he wants to stop it at all, maybe he'll just decide to take the card. Seems unlikely, but Chris taking an awful long time thinking about what he wants to do here. Going to use a Kel. It's pretty devastating, but that probably means he's wanting to play a Super Saiyan Gotenks in the next turn, and then there comes a Boo out. We're going to see Chris definitely play full power energy as his, full power Trunks as his energy here. Again, probably expecting Super Saiyan Gotenks considering the fact that he pitched Kel. So, but we'll see. There's a Super Saiyan. There's the full power Trunks that we just talked about. Now, curious to see what he decides to play. A lot of options. Alrighty, there's a Super Saiyan Gotenks. We just called his whole turn, guys. Easy. Alright, gotta open up 2 energy. He can go back up to 4 here. $15,000 to 15,000 Gohan here. Just trying to get one of these Gohans off the field. I actually expect Anthony to do whatever he can in order to kind of save these. Maybe use the Boo here. Maybe even use a Sensu Bean. We'll see what happens. Going to use the Boo to save it. Now this is 20,000. It looks like maybe. Oh, actually, he's going to attack into Anthony here. Trying to knock Anthony down to 2 to make this Super Saiyan Gotenks a lot more scary. See what Anthony has in hand, what he decides to use here. A lot of cards, Sensu Bean in hand. Lots of cards. It's actually possible if Chris doesn't find a way to remove at least a couple of these Gohans from the field. I'm not sure if he might be able to survive the next turn. It's a lot of attackers. A lot of cards out of his hand. Right, there's Piccolo, drawing a card, goes up to 25k. There's Bulma. See, it would actually be awesome if he searched out a Light of Hope Trunks here. Light of Hope Trunks being probably a really good card to run in Anthony's deck, actually. Might be better than running the Jirans and like the bigger cards. Maybe running Light of Hope Trunks could be actually a pretty devastating card. Getting that 20,000 critical attack every turn. Could be what he needs in order to try to push a little bit of extra damage and get there. It seems like he's struggling to get through that damage, and it costs 3 and is searchable by Bulma. Wow. Anthony taking this damage, going to 1 life. And Chris passes the turn. This is extremely surprising to me. When I saw that attack with Gotenks into Anthony, I assumed he had some sort of, Trunks play or Mass Saiyan play or something that he was going to do to try to finish the game if he took it. But he actually just gave him 2 cards and passed turns. Could be very scary. Anthony with a small novel in his hand. Chapter 1, How to Beat This Deck. Well, going to be step 1, it's having 3 Gohans on field. He just needs to find a way to do 1 damage. Okay, 15,000 into 15,000 here. Vegeta into Goku. Getting 15,000 into 15,000. Gohan into Goku. Chris using a Sensu Bean. Obviously a very great card in order to stop this. Now I think he's going to have to go back into his hand. Probably play like an efficient 1-cost battle card. Like Boo, Guasu, Champa, anything like that. And then keep using that card to put pressure on Chris here. Anthony taking some time. Saying how he wants to sequence this. It's very important. Again, he has the potential to win the game right here. I feel like Chris's hand is either not good or he's super confident that his hand is defensive enough in order to let him carry through this turn. Anthony taking a look at his opponent's drop area and warp area, trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do. Again, not sure exactly what he wants to do. 2 red, 4 blue. He has Boos, Guasus, Champas. You have to almost imagine he has a 1-cost card in hand that he can use to pump these Gohans up a little bit. And there it is. Anthony going for blood right here. Does Chris have a negate? If Chris says no negate, he does. He negated. 15 trunks. Opens him up. I like what Anthony did there. I like how he played out Champa, forcing the negate. He has 1 negate in energy, though, and I think when he used 1 other negate at the time, it's kind of unlikely that he has 3, I guess, but can Anthony win through here? Maybe if the Champa killed the Gotenks, that was maybe the right play. But again, Anthony took a chance there. If his opponent doesn't have a negate, I think Anthony just wins on the spot, though. So it's kind of like a 50-50, I suppose. I don't think Anthony loses next turn. He has a big hand. All right, so 15,000 here, and he's eaten a lot of cards out of Chris's hand this turn. I have to go another Trunks, ready another energy here. Go and choose another blue. So it goes up to 2 blue, 20,000, and a 20,000 here. Maybe he will use, I think right now Anthony's trying to decide if he should win this turn, if he should try to win this turn, or wait next turn. So he's going to go up here and go to 25,000 to 20. Chris just uses a Gohan and stops it. Again, looks like maybe 3 cards in hand by Chris. Mass Saiyan, nice. Beautiful. Gonna be able to kill this Gotenks. Beautiful. I don't think Chris can kill all this stuff, and I really don't know if Chris can actually... my guess is Anthony will just attack into Gohan here. I don't think he can afford to give Chris 2 cards this turn, but we'll see. Probably just attack into Gohan to clear out of the board. Just say, okay, like we're neutral. I can beat your Goku. I have tons of cards in hand. And we'll just see you next turn. You have to still deal. You have to find a way to deal with my Champa and deal with my Gohans. So I think I like that play. A very smart, efficient play by Anthony. You know, again, no reason to go for 2 cards and give Chris his 2 cards for no reason. I think Chris trying to figure out if he wants to go all in right here. Now, Goku has a surprisingly high amount of all-in potential due to a couple factors. When he attacks, he gets 20,000. He raises 2 energy. So what you can do is you can play like 2 small guys. You can go like Boo. You can go like Boo, attack with Goku, ready your 2 energy, combo with those Boos, and then just drop your entire hand. Definitely possible. Looks like Chris actually just decided to go for Gohan here. This can't be Gohan. This has to be game right here. So he's going for game. This is 20, 30, 40, 50,000. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. He's adding it all up here. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 95. Make sure I get this right here, guys. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 95. I'll tell you what, if Anthony survives this attack. So 15, 20, 30, 40, 5, 50, 60, 70. So there's going to add these all up again to make sure. It's like Anthony is at 20, 30, 40, 5, 50. Very interesting. The thing is, Chris essentially just went all in on Vegeta here and is not in any, I don't think, in a danger to actually lose the game. He can actually still possibly pull the game out, even though he just kind of went all in. But Anthony still, adding in the cards, can't get there and loses the game. Chris Abella winning 2-0. Soul Striker Goku takes down Vegeta Blue the second time in a row, as it turns out. Get over here, guys. To the caster desk, coming over. Woo. As it turns out, guys, Vegeta just cannot beat Goku in the finals. Just can't happen. It's very similar to the show. Every time I see, Vegeta lose to Goku in the finals, I just imagine, Vegeta just being like, Kakarot, no. Like, it's like he just cannot get through. That stinks. But Anthony playing a fantastic game to get up to the finals, and Chris Abella playing an amazing job in the finals. I mean, both fantastic players, high-tier players. Again, PPG taking their 4th championship here at the regionals. They've won every championship but one, a regional but one, as it turns out. Just fantastic. Awesome to hear. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's it for the coverage of Dragon Ball Super Regionals presented by ARG here in Indianapolis. Super exciting. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, go to alterrealitygames.com. Go check out all the state events near you. Go check those out. Those are on the 17th and 18th. Fantastic events. And if you can't make it for those, or if you want to come to both, come to North Carolina for the next regional the following week to see all of your favorite top-tier Dragon Ball Super players and to play in the last East Coast regional available through ARG. So, guys, thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.